just make me really passive one in my life, because I always have a feeling that okay, if this thing is not going to work, no problem. I can have another dozens of ideas.
Ah, right, right,
So
right.
it
Nice, nice.
is. And mostly it happens with me like I had ideas about, just say about business.
Ah,
I
right.
had ideas. Yeah, I had ideas at the age of 13 or even before that.
I
And
hear you. I
yeah,
hear you.
it was totally impossible for me to
Yeah.
do that in that age. But people actually implement my ideas, and they are billionaires now. They are
Oh yeah.
billionaires.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh. I could tell you long stories about exactly
yeah.
the same thing.
So sometimes I do feel regret, but my mother always said, "Beena, you were so young. How can you even
Right,
imagine that?
right,
Okay, someone is going to just give you money for that, and you can start your business, and a huge business, and
right,
the business idea nobody have at that time."
right,
So
right.
my mother tried to console me, but yeah,
Well, good on
sometimes
you,
I
mom.
do.
Good on you.
Sometimes I do feel that I think ahead of time, before the actual time. So my mind is a blessing and a puzzle for myself, a trap
Yes,
also.
yes,
Yeah, it's a
yes,
two-way thing.
yes.
It's not like okay, it's a blessing. I can read anything, I can learn anything if I want to. Yes, I can do. Alhamdulillah, I can do. But also, it is a trap also, because I always have
Yes.
so many new ideas. So the persistence, you can say, that is lacking. The stick getting stuck on one idea or one thing is
Yeah.
always
Right.
a problem for me,
Right.
because I'd never actually care about that. I said, okay, why not? No problem.
You never actually what?
I
Say
will.
sorry. Say again. You never actually.
I will always think of different ideas. I've never been really focused on one thing,
Right.
and it's a kind of you can say that a proudness in myself from the childhood, because I never had to memorize things like in school, and I never actually did my homework and all that. I was just okay. Last night I will read the book. I will read the book and I will pass my exams.
Yeah. Yeah. I
My
was
mother
the
says,
same.
Veena,
I was the same. Yeah.
my mother says, Veena, if you could just put 3 days, you can top in your school. But I said, no, I don't want to. I
Why?
actually don't want to.
Why? Right. Why? Because of what are we on? What is the center
Yes,
column? What is the center of this that we're busy with, right? We are
yes,
focused on focus of purpose and clarity of intent. Type it for
yes,
me in the chat there, please.
yes. Focus on.
Focus of purpose, with capitals and dashes.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's very important because it helps for the emphasis. So it's very,
Yes.
very powerful. So we're on focus of purpose because it's a one thing. It's not like separate. It's not focus and purpose. It's a one thing. Focus of purpose and clarity
Okay.
of intent. Same again. One concept.
Oh God, I missed that capital letter.
There you go.
Purpose and clarity.
Of intent.
Uh, okay.
Ah, brilliant. Right, right. You just forgot the dashes.
Oh, sorry.
Ah, no, it's
Sorry.
okay. It's not a problem. I'll type it myself, and because I
Mhm.
like this focus of purpose, it's very powerful. So I wanna just redo it um for emphasis
Mhm.
and clarity. You see, when you put the dashes in, it makes it into one concept. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? A contained concept rather than it's not, two things, clarity and intent or focus and purpose it's clarity of intent, a singular thing. It just helps the brain lock it in. So anyway,
Okay.
the main thing is just emphasis. But look at
Okay.
what you just said. everything that you told me about you as a girl, your ideas, and having these profound ideas, the way you connected to at school, that you didn't really need to pay attention, and you could just kind of read the book and then you'd pass the test. Well, the same for me, by the way. But here's the key: the reason why that was not something of importance to you, it's because of precisely focus of purpose and clarity of intent. Now, we need to develop a clarity of intent. When we don't have it, then we don't apply ourselves, right?
Oh,
Does
okay.
that make sense?
Yes.
So
Yes.
your focus of purpose as a child, you said, well, really, what do I need to pay attention in the class for? Like, I'm having these ideas which I know are really good, and maybe at the time, you believed they were good, and later you saw them to actually be proven to be good. But you had confidence in your own ideas. You knew it was a sensible idea before it was proven to be an idea by some, a viable, legitimate, really good idea by somebody else later, right? So you knew,
Yes.
you had that understanding of yourself, of your visionary ability, right? Right.
Yes.
So your focus of purpose automatically, when you say, well, you know what, I'm looking at things beyond what I'm doing here in school, right? Which means that by implication, your focus of purpose is not school.
Oh my God. Yes.
Right? Okay. So now this is very important. The fact that it's not school doesn't mean that you were actually clear about what your focus of purpose is, or
Exactly.
and you don't have clarity of intent, maybe even now still, right?
Yes.
But what you did have was, or do have, is to know what you do not want, right?
Yes.
And in that sense, that's halfway to having clarity of intent and to
Yes.
establishing a focus of purpose. Okay? Right?
Okay.
It's knowing what you don't want.
Yes.
All right. So so now we do want to establish focus of purpose and clarity of intent for you, right? Or you want to establish that, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So here's the key. Look at the meditation. I'm going to just use this as a basis. The post in the let me do my screen share again. The post that I made, because yes, I don't necessarily say these things are absolute and saying I'm going to use it as a mechanism for connecting to more. Right? Because when things are symbolic and metaphorical, we can interpret them in 1,000 different ways. That's up to us. That's how we utilize and make use of and get value out of things like these. Not because they're inherently true, because we make them into more through symbolism and metaphor and connectivity and expanding and all of the things that we do, right? Okay.
Yes.
So we take technique is purely individual. It is a personal means of expression. In other words, Beena be Beena.
Okay.
Wouldn't that mean that right there, right?
Yeah.
How precisely you do, it's purely individual. And it's a personal means of expression, your technique. So, in other words, being visionary, the technique for being visionary, which in this application here, we're saying it's how Beena is going to actually be real Beena. Put that in your notes, please. Real Beena.
I'm writing it here
Yeah,
because right
with
now.
a hyphen as well, real Beena, because
Okay.
that's a different thing to just regular Beena and deep Beena, real Beena. That's the one you really want to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So school Beena and that path of where you on from school, that's not real Beena. It never was. Am I right?
Yes, because I
Li-
was never been in real connection with my age of
Right. Well, and
people.
also you just not ever
My
were conventional.
never,
And you're never going to be conventional either.
never.
Right. So any path that puts you on a path of conventionality, that this cannot be real Bina, right? Right there.
Yes.
Not going to happen.
Yes.
Okay. So any path that is doing just the usual and implementing something that's already known, how can that really be visionary?
Say it again, please.
Any path that
Yes.
connects to the known, to the usual,
Yes.
how
Yes.
can that be a visionary path? Cannot be.
No.
It can't
Impossible.
be. So anything that, in other words, anything that's not just conventional, but typical, usual, that's a known, that leads to what we already have, none of that can be a Beena path
Yes.
because it's not visionary, right?
Yes.
Okay. So a visionary wants more,
Yes.
right? That's what
Yes.
being a visionary is all about. It's about
Oh my.
wanting more. Now,
Yes.
what do we want that is really, really more? Okay, so take your business ideas, right? I used to keep a book of business ideas, literally a notebook, and I stopped after many years. Why? Because I kept seeing those ideas become implemented, and it was just like, what's the point really? It was a little bit depressing. However, I
Yes.
didn't realize at the time, this was ages ago, I stopped doing that book, and I still have business ideas. But here's the point. I'm very pleased that I never ever was in a position to actually be able to implement those ideas. Wow. That
I'm so
sounded like
sorry.
the Loch Ness monster. That's okay. Okay, but why? Why am I pleased that I never had the opportunity to be in a position to implement those billion-dollar ideas? And I've got plenty, literally billion-dollar ideas. I've seen them come about all the time. Same as
Oh
you,
my.
right? No problem. Oh yeah, plenty of them. Um, I'll be happy to have a whole session one day. We can share ideas because they're fun. But what would have happened had that actually been possible and we could have implemented those ideas? What would have happened to us?
Right. We might be successfully running some business and having a sufficient amount of money. We can say more than enough money, but might be stagnant, might be just stuck in that thing, and jumping or
I mean,
starving from
what
there.
would have happened to us as people? We would have become Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or any one of somebody like that, right?
I have no idea about this.
No, I'm just saying, if we'd been in a position where somebody said, "Hey, you know what? I like your idea. I'll finance you, and we'll set up a startup, and we'll get funding, and we'll go big, and we'll go public," and that's how all these people all started, right? In
Yes.
a way, things kind of just took off, and their idea got funded, it got
Yes.
implemented, and it went crazy, and they made billions of dollars, right? But my point is, we would have become that kind of a person, that type of a person. That's what I'm saying. That's what would have happened to us as people, not the externals. Okay. So yeah, let me ask you this now, right? And this is something that at the time I was aware of, and it really helped transform my life. Okay. So when Bill Gates first come up, this was in the 90s already now. Uh
Mhm.
yeah, just early in the 80s actually. I'm sorry, not the 90s, 80s already.
Mhm.
Um when he first became to be very rich, right? I
Mhm.
looked at him and I said, you know what? People all said, oh, I'd like to be Bill Gates because he was such a sensation, because he came so
Yes.
quickly out of nothing. Um,
Mhm.
and they said, oh, I'd love to be Bill Gates. And I said, no, you wouldn't. They said, yeah, of course I would. I said, no, you mean you would like to have Bill Gates' money? Would you actually like to be Bill Gates? Like if he didn't have his money, would you like to be Bill Gates?
No
Uh,
way.
you, Beena, what did you just say?
No way. How
Exactly.
can
Of
I?
course not. Exactly. Exactly. And when I looked at Bill Gates then, he's now become a different person. But back then, hell no, I don't want to be Bill Gates or any other of those wealthy people who had that same thing, right? I don't want to be
Yes.
them, right? Because they were not really particularly happy people. They didn't have joy. And what they did not especially have was a connectivity to more. They may have had more money, but they had no connectivity to more. The capital M more that we talk about,
Oh,
correct?
but they were working. They were proceeding towards more. Like that's how they are. Like Bill Gates. That's how he is here because he was working towards more. You know.
More in a material sense, yes, but not more in the way we mean more. When we say more in the context of the way of impeccability, we mean a more of energy, a more of power, a more of spirituality, a more of connectivity, a more of attunement, a more of life to go even beyond life itself. So we mean the more in the everything of the more compounded, more squared, more, just that is the infinity of more. So what does he really have, Bill Gates? Even, yes, he's starting now in his later life. He's starting to connect to that more that we talk about. But at that point, all he
Yeah.
had was more money, which isn't
Yes.
really a more in life, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
despite his money, okay, Steve Jobs is even a better example. I've actually got a post about Steve Jobs's dying words, right? And
Mhm.
all he really says was he regrets his life. He was miserable. He was a shit, and it was no good. So, despite all the misery, he had a horrible life. Really, I mean, all the money, his life was not a good one. It wasn't positive. So, despite the more of money, he was absolutely not connected to any more in any way whatsoever. And that's my point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. That if we had gone that way, we might have ended up being Steve Jobs's or Bill Gates's or whoever. And that's not a life that I want. Yes, Bill Gates is starting to kind of wake up and connect a little bit more now, which is nice to see. Nonetheless, it's taken him a whole damn lifetime to get there. Which is, man, that's a waste, right? It's not our path. Plus, he has to unlearn so much in order to learn. It's, oh man, he's got a whole lifetime of unlearning to get rid of. Very difficult, right? Whereas,
Yes, it is.
and
It's really.
that's what I figured out when I saw Bill Gates. I had that fortunate view back then because I was in the same situation, early in life. You're starting out, what do you want to do? And I said, wait a second, I want to be more as a person first, so that I don't get to the end and have money and success. And then I say, and I look around and say, well, now what am I going to do with myself? How do I be happy? How do I have more? How do I live in a way that is transcends that money? How do I have, real personal power, of the power of freedom, the power of joy, the power of independence of being, and so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of moreness, right? That has nothing to do with
Yes.
money. Said so.
Wow.
Money doesn't actually help you
Really
get to
smart
that,
idea.
right? And I wanted, because now you look too, and I saw other people that were successful getting to the end of their lives, and it's like, now what, right?
Yeah.
That's the question they all ask. You see, they say a midlife crisis. That's typically what midlife crisis is, because they have success and they say, now what? And that question with now what really means, what is the more to life? Right?
Oh yeah.
And then it's kind of too late already. Well, not necessarily. You can, but it's much harder to connect to that now what and go beyond when you spent all your life energy on crap and nonsense, which really in the end means bugger all. I said rather I want to connect to the more first. If money and success is going to come, that'll come later. But what do I care? In the meantime, I'm going to be happy and have fun and live a really a life that leads to a more, which I feel is valuable. Whereas money, not really. Money without being a more person means bugger all, right? And like in Steve Jobs' case, it just brought him misery. I
Okay.
mean, how much more miserable are you not when you realize that you've gotten everything that you're supposed to have in life and you're
Yeah.
still miserable?
Wow.
That's a disaster.
Yes.
I have a little fable on that. Hold on, let me find that for you. It's called the
Okay.
Fable of Marilyn. Very profound little story. Very profound little story. It absolutely represents what I'm talking about here. Always forget how to spell Marilyn. Then I think that's it. Maybe not. No, that's not it either. Come, where's my story? Oh, here we go. Was there after all? All right. So this is a Ask Biala story, but well, you may have this in your life too. My parents are always going on about ambition and status and becoming somebody and stuff like that. But are ambition and status good things? Okay. So this is a Ask Biala question. So, dear
Uh-huh.
A, to answer your question, I have a story for you. The Fable of Marilyn. Maybe I can play it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll share the link, and you can hit play, and you
Okay.
can just listen to it. That will be
Perfect. Thank you.
better. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hold on. It's not long. It's very short, but
Uh-huh.
it's very cool. So,
Oh, yes. 2
okay,
minutes, 47 seconds.
yeah. Let me get out of this and post it in chat. All right. So you play it then, and I'll listen along with you.
I have so many windows open right now.
Oh, that's why your internet is slow and choppy. So you got to close them all. Close them all. Every single
Uh,
one. I know. I look at the bottom of
I
my
just,
look at the bottom of my screen real quick before you start
okay.
that. You
Okay.
see the taskbar over here where my mouse is.
Oh, yes. Now,
You see the windows open.
yes.
Then I have some files open too. So I have a lot of windows open too. So.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, play away. Play away.
Okay. So, it is really. Okay. Where's the link? Where's the link you sent?
I put the link in the chat in Zoom chat.
In Zoom chat. And
Yeah,
and I was,
where you typed earlier.
okay.
Oh, you looked in Facebook chat. Okay.
Yes, I'm just closing down Facebook.
Yeah. You can close Facebook now. As a matter of fact, so
I
can
have
I.
I have multiple windows of Facebook
Yeah. I'm closing
open.
Facebook also. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and Facebook is very resource hungry. It really does suck the resources. I'll put that link in your Facebook chat anyway since I'm there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna close Facebook also. Yeah, especially multiple Facebook windows. They definitely use a lot of resources.
Okay. Can you put your screen back here?
Well, all you have to do is click on the chat in Zoom, and the link is there, and you can click on that.
No, I think I closed down all the windows. Yes. Yes,
No,
that's
the Zoom. You don't want any other browser windows. You just want the Zoom window up. Where you typed in earlier, the
yes.
focus of purpose. You don't see the link there.
No.
Oh, put it in again.
But the call is on. I don't know what happened.
Right. So where you typed earlier in that chat, the Zoom chat. You know when you click on the chat little button
Yes,
at the bottom.
I was using. I have the screen, but I had the screen, but now, right now,
Oh, you have
I
to
don't
just
have.
yeah, just click on chat. Well, I'll just go to your taskbar and click on the Zoom icon. It's like a little blue and white thing to bring it up again.
Seriously, where is my Zoom gone?
It's there at the bottom on your taskbar. It's just a little. Oh, you may have minimized it. You know what? You may have minimized it, and it's just like a little small black window, and you need to just click on the bottom right to maximize it again.
Okay, but okay, here we are. Okay, and I have.
And you see me.
Yes, I can see you now.
All right. So you see the chat, and you have to click
Yes,
on
and
the. Okay.
you see the links?
You see the
Yes.
link?
Yes.
Oh,
And
what are you
now,
doing, girl? Just yeah, like such scratchy sounds.
oh
That's
my God, I'm so
like
sorry.
you
I don't
like you
know
like you're
why this
dragging a
happened.
bag of coal across your microphone.
Okay, now we're playing. Okay. stuff like that. But our ambition and status is dear Ray, to answer your question, I have a story for you. The fable of Marilyn. Marilyn was a pretty girl, well liked, but she was not satisfied. She was not happy inside. There must be more, she said. I must be missing something. So she set about becoming more popular. Mine is closed.
What happened? I was hearing it and then it stopped.
Then
What
suddenly, yes, without doing anything by my side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just stopped. Nope.
All right, maybe I'll just read it to you then. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
Should I just read it then?
Yes, please.
Okay. The Fable of Marilyn. Marilyn was a pretty girl, well liked, but she was not satisfied. She was not happy inside. There must be more, she said. I must be missing something. So she set about becoming more popular, making herself beautiful and loved. She did this and still was not happy. Am I not successful or famous? Ah, that must be it. So she set about becoming famous and successful, and she became so. The whole world loved and admired her, but she was still not happy. It must be because I am not loved by the right people. Yes, strangers love me. Yes, people who are not important love me, but no one that really matters loves me. That must be why. So she set about being loved by important people, even by a president, but still she was not happy. And when she realized she had fulfilled all her ambitions, that she was loved by everyone, was loved by important people, and she was still not happy, she realized. She realized that there was no further she could go. There was nothing else she could do. She had achieved the pinnacle, but she was unhappy. There was nothing else she could do. So sadly, Marilyn died of a broken heart, never having realized that love from outside can never make her happy, never having realized that the opinions of others can never make any difference. Sadly, dear Marilyn never realized it was only her own opinion that mattered. And Marilyn was an inordinately sweet and nice person. She thought that having a good opinion of herself was a bad thing. She believed obtaining the good opinions of others was the good and right thing to do, for that was the view of society. And dear sweet Marilyn, in her innocence, never questioned this. She simply tried to do what she believed to be the good and right things in order to be happy. And when she came to the end of all her achievements and knew there was no further to go, she lost all hope of happiness, or so she sadly believed. That hopelessness crushed her heart and she died of despair. Oh, sorry, the story makes me emotional. The
Oh
end.
my, oh my God.
So you get the point that I'm making in the story, right? That if you pursue ambition and goals and success and all that, and you don't feel good about yourself, if it's not right internally, if you don't follow your trueness of self, then you're wasting your time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So very powerful little story, very small, but
Yeah.
anyway, I always it has a profound effect on me. I don't know if it's as much for you, but it's a big deal. And yes, it's my personal view of Marilyn Monroe. Like I say, yeah, it's not, I don't know whether it's actually true or not, but that's the way I see the story as having run. Watched it. I wasn't really around in the time of Marilyn. I'm after that somewhat, but I still saw a lot of it. So. And I did see, from historical stuff as well. You saw how that pattern developed, and so anyway, it's a sad story, but still, it's a powerful story. And the whole thing was Steve. Yeah, it was Steve Jobs. Same story, really. Same exact story, except Steve Jobs wasn't sweet and innocent like Marilyn. He was just a bit of a shit. But still, same logic. He still ended up miserable. So
Yes.
yeah, it's very powerful to be aware of this. So here's the thing
And
now. All right.
yes.
Well, I want to get back to the powerfulness of what we were doing. Uh, just where's my oh, I closed Facebook. All right. Never mind. I've got that window open where I still have this here. So I want to get back to the post that I made, right?
Yes.
Um, because we were talking about, and we're in the context, our theme is focus of purpose and clarity of intent, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we said technique is purely individual, it's a personal means of expression. So we don't have to worry about the preciseness of how we do things. That's purely personal. Our own style, our own choice, that's our deal, and it's a personal means of expression. That's about it. So we don't have to worry about that too much, right? So I'm going to just read through this and see how it connects and see where we have connectivity. Not whether this is true or not, but we're looking to see where we can extract value,
Yes.
right? That's what we do. We extract value. That's our choice. In other words, we create the more, and we insist on extracting the more, right?
Okay. We insist on extracting more. Good.
Right. There's a whole session coming up that is focused on exactly that. There's a whole nice little video that goes with it. And anyway, it's one of the modules in one of the future modules. So as we go along, you'll get there. Anyway, but so June 6 people have a vision which is truly a part of them. Okay, now when they say a vision here, they mean visionary vision, as in a perception of what could be. In other
Yes.
words, a vision of the more. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
right. So, so it can manifest in their professional, family affairs, field of study, but will influence every aspect of their life. All right, so let's just stop right there, right? Will influence every aspect of their life. So, you have not shared with me yet, or with us, as far as I know, your particularly visionary view of the world. What is internally your vision as you see it? What connects to you? That more, which I'm just going to use more instead of vision, because vision is it's a corrupted term, right? That
Mhm.
moreness, that upgrade, that is your personal perception. Now, I suspect it's not quite defined as yet, and that's what we're busy doing right now, right?
Actually, I really don't know that I have a particular idea of or a vision or a more of moreness,
Right.
but I feel that the most happy I can ever be is when I'm learning something. In the
Exactly.
process, I feel every single time, just a minor thing, just a little bit of knowledge, just little bit of the skill, you can say, a
Yes.
new way,
Yes.
a
Yes.
technique, that thing just make me happy every single time. The process actually makes me happy, the process of
Yes.
learning.
The
And
process of extracting more, of connecting to more, of enjoying the more, of being one with the more, of bringing the more into your life. So the process of moreness, that's
yes,
where your joy comes from, right?
yes.
Okay. 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 Hold
Even
that thought.
I can't watch the film even just for fun. I can't watch the film if I'm not getting anything from that.
Right, exactly, exactly. You want moreness. It's all
Yeah.
about moreness. Okay, so hold that thought. We're going to see how this connects, because we have to keep in mind focus of purpose and clarity of intent. Right now,
Yes.
we are going to connect your focus of purpose and your clarity of intent to mine, because that's how we came to meet. Right,
Okay.
because you are directly connected to my particular focus of intent, a focus of purpose and clarity of intent. So there's an attunement connectivity that's going on here, a moreness that's beyond the two of us, and we have to pay attention to that. We'll get there, right? So let's just keep going through this, and you'll see where I'm going with this in the end of this. Okay. So carrying through on their often far-reaching plans is given top priority. Yes, that's very important. That's very, very important. If we don't make that actual deliberate effort to connect to the application of moreness, we're going nowhere, right? And therefore, those born on this day can be lonely or are unable to share at a deep level with those who have close relationships with them. It is as if their heart is already spoken for. Yes, that's very true. Our hearts are spoken for by the more,
Yes.
right? Our hearts belong to the more. right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, another way you could say the universe, but the universe is the more, so same thing, right? We'll just say more
Yeah.
instead of universe in this case because it's more appropriate. The greatest danger to June 6 people is that their vision will carry them to extremes of both word and deed. Okay, that's very important. You have to watch that. For me also, I have a lot of this in me also. Very much
Oh,
so. So I'm not a June 6th person. I'm September 15, and we can go over that if you want at another time. But I have this sameness in me as well. I have to be careful of extremes, and I've always been aware of that, which I'm very fortunate of. So it's very interesting. It's really been helpful to me. So negatives results such as extremism can range from personal injury to failure to even death. So yeah, this is something that they're saying you have to be really careful of. I don't know how much this applies to you. Only you can say.
yes.
Does this resonate with you?
Yes, yes, yes. It
Okay.
sounds very
Okay.
nice.
Right. So this is important though, because this applies to everybody. Those born on this day must be guarded in the use of the unusual energies granted to them. Now, that I can attest to personally. You do have unusual energies. Olivia said the same thing. And we're
Oh,
not just saying this casually. It's not something that we just, oh, it's just the intuition, just the feeling. We have a skill and an expertise in the perception of unusual energies. Okay, it's something that we've spent an entire lifetime developing and working on and refining and fine tuning and implementing this skill and this expertise at perceiving unusual energies in people specifically. Okay, so when I say and Olivia says, hey, we do perceive an unusual energy to Beena, right? We're not just saying this as an opinion that's coming out of nowhere. It's our expert opinion, in other words. It's still an opinion. So
okay,
take it as still as that, still an opinion, but it is an expert opinion. Okay.
okay,
So,
okay.
right. That we see that you have unusual energies, right? That is very clear from the very first moment that we started talking and the first moment that Olivia, on the, she was on the takeaway session and she's watched some of the others that she couldn't be part of, but she watched them. So she's connecting to that also. Okay. So polarities of all sorts captivate and attract June 6 people. So that's important. This polarities, right? And this is something that you have to be really careful of. This is like polarities, like black and white mentality, right? It's either black or it's white, and you're attracted to either one extreme or the other. The problem with that is that when we focused on either black or white and we want that clarity, that definitiveness, we miss all the glorious colors in between, right? And they're not even in between. What is gray is in between black and white. People who are focused on black and white and gray and all that, they miss all the color in life. It's a very big deal. Okay. So, those born on this day have little time for compromise or seeking the mean in life. And what they mean the mean here, they mean the average in life, right? There's like a statistical mean. But
Okay.
usually go flat out after their goals and desires. And that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. However, what are we about? What is our center column? What is our theme of this conversation?
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
Clarity. Focus of purpose, clarity of intent.
Right, exactly. So, if you're going to go flat out after your goals and desires, you need to be really, really, really thoroughly clear about what precisely that is and to make sure that your focus of purpose has clarity of intent, which means that you are completely squared away that what you are pursuing is reasonable, is justified, is legitimate, is appropriate, is sensible, has profound sobriety connected to it, and it is strategic and it takes care of things in the entirety of your life. Okay? Right? So we want to look and make sure that our focus of purpose and our clarity of intent is connected to our overview perspective of life. We don't want to get lost in a little side tangent. And by side tangent, I mean the way Steve Jobs got lost in side tangents, the way Marilyn got lost in a side tangent, the way Bill Gates got lost in side tangents, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Wealth and success in the usual sense, from our perspective, of the more perspective, those are side tensions. They don't really mean much when you look at it from the overview perspective, right? Right.
Okay.
So from the more of life perspective, those things, they don't mean all that much, right?
Yes.
They sidetracks. Okay. So what we on here go flat out after their goals and desires. We want to be sure that the goal and the desire that you're going to go flat out after is one which resonates with real, true, deep Beena.
Okay.
It must
Yes.
resonate with the entirety of your life, right? Not just a part of your life.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So this is just some sort of trivial stuff. Some June 6 people appear moderate or even conservative in appearance and demeanor, but beneath such a veneer, it is likely a creature of a more radical nature lurks. And that's when we first spoke. I mean, literally from the very first connectivity, that's exactly what I knew. I knew that I'm speaking to a creature of a more radical nature. Yeah, that's why we had such a great time, because what we doing, the way of impeccability, the course, what we're doing together, this is radical stuff.
Yes, this is.
It is very, very radical stuff, right?
Yeah,
It's
it is.
profoundly radical. It's
Yeah,
not just
people.
radical in the usual sense. It's profoundly radical.
Yeah, people do raise their brows like, okay, what is this all about? Okay, what is it? I said, this is something really interesting. This is something really meaningful. You must
Right,
learn. So I really
right,
don't know, but people
right.
do feel.
It is profoundly transformative, not just profoundly meaningful and significant. It's profoundly transformative. That's what makes it visionary. What the way of impeccability is, it is a visionary path to more. I'll write that down for me. The way of impeccability is a visionary path to more.
The way of impeccability
Is a
is
visionary path.
is a visionary path.
Yeah, visionary and path both capitalized. Yeah,
Capitalized.
yeah, because it's a powerful thing. You can even put a hyphen in visionary path if you want, because it's a one thing. In our case, right, is a visionary path to more. And of course, capital M, more.
Okay. Path. No. The words are really important. I like
Oh yeah.
every word just hold me down. Like, no, I can't go further. First, just let it sink in. Let it sink in.
Yes. Yes. It'll all connect together. It's all part of our central theme. We're very focused today. So,
Okay.
they say women born on this day may have a few unusual, even bizarre qualities. Okay, so
Sorry.
that right there,
Uh-huh.
right, we're going to come back to it all. Don't worry, we'll come back to it all. We're just going through this in terms of how it connects to you, and we're using it to connect to more. So in this case, I would say this is not something that's very important. It's a bit trivial. However, unusual or even bizarre qualities can easily be, through strategy and perspective shifting, which is part of the way of impeccability, can be transformed into quirky. And quirky is cool, right? So you and I both, we have to
Yes.
understand that we are unusual creatures, right? With radical natures, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the way to utilize that and to make it appropriate in the world context is not to be unusual or even bizarre, but to be quirky rather, different,
Ah.
right?
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
just the same thing. It's just a way of presenting it. Instead of being bizarre or unusual or weird, we can be quirky or different or other, right? But I like being other. That works
Okay.
well for
Yes.
me, right? I
Yes.
like that. So yeah,
Yes. I
quirky a little
remember.
bit, okay, but I like being other. That for
Yes.
me is my radicalness is other, right? Okay.
Okay.
So we are other. Very, very powerful. So less highly evolved, and this is the point that I like about these kind of descriptions, these particular guys, is that they present to you what it's like if you unevolved or evolved, right? So less highly evolved people born on this day have crackpot schemes and flawed visions, which means, right? Okay, let's just stop right there. Have crackpot schemes and flawed visions. That's the less highly evolved. So if you are highly evolved, what is the opposite of a crackpot scheme and a flawed vision?
A clear vision, clarity of intent.
Exactly. And a profound vision, and really a visionary path, right? Because isn't a true visionary path something that is profound, transformative, awesome, really world changing, something that is significant, meaningful, purposeful, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where we headed. We want to be evolved, and which means we want to be connected, and we want to pursue. And this where was this? Our flat out pursuit of our goals and
Yes.
desires, right? We want to be highly evolved, so we want to have a profound visionary theme, a profound visionary goal and desire to implement, right? Which is exactly what it is that you and I are engaged in, right?
Okay.
We are engaged in refining and defining precisely that visionary path and that visionary goal and desire, which resonates with inner, deep inner, real Beena, visionary Beena, in other words. Yeah, that's what we're about. That's what you and I are doing, not just right now today, but in general.
Yes.
Okay. So the most successful June 6 people inevitably use their visionary abilities to enlighten and enhance those around them. Okay?
Yes.
They use their visionary abilities to enlighten and advance those around them. How profound is that?
It is. It
In the
is.
context of what we're talking about in terms of the way of impeccability as a visionary path, is that
Yeah.
not precisely what the way of impeccability as a visionary path? Is that precisely not what the way of impeccability is all about? It is precisely about enlightening and advancing those around them, right?
Yes.
We haven't even
And
gotten to the modules about attunement and about the meaning and purpose of life and awareness and all of that. But there's lots more coming, which truly connects to precisely this, to enlightenment and advancing those around them. We aren't going
okay.
to share a belief about how that works. We are going to share self-evident logic about how that works.
I want to say something. First, my name Beena.
Uh-huh.
The actual meaning, literally actual meaning of my name Beena is visionary.
Wow, wow. You see how incredible this is. Okay, this is
Yeah.
just fantastic.
And but it was not my birth name. My birth name was Saira, which means a traveler, a wanderer, like who loves to travel, who loves to go outside.
Yes,
And
I like that too. I like that.
yes,
Right.
and but my parents decided to change my name when I was very
Wow,
young, and they
wow,
changed my name to Beena. And
wow,
now Beena means visionary. And
wow. That's
second,
magical.
and the second thing is that the image you shared with this
All
with
right, yeah.
June 16th. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So it's a very beautiful young girl in there,
Right.
but it is something really amazing that when I was looking at the image, I was feeling like I am looking into my own eyes.
Wow. So I did pick a good image.
So
Wow. Wow.
I was shocked. I was really shocked, and I was
Wow.
saying, "Oh my god, oh my god!" And even my sister came and she just speak over and she says, "What you are saying?" I said, "Look at it." And she says, "She looks like you." And she's
Wow.
saying that it is
Wow.
something. It
Wow.
is especially the eyes, especially the
Wow.
eyes,
Wow. Wow. You know,
and
oh, go ahead.
yeah, it is really amazing because in the first session when I was thinking about some word and just in few seconds you were using all these words, and I was like, oh my god, how synchronized we are. And
it,
and now it's still when I'm looking, it is like I'm looking into my own eyes.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so yeah, Beena. Now, I wanted to share this with you since I'm busy sharing the screen.
Yeah,
Let me go. So look at my choices that I have. Let me just move
yeah,
this guy out of the way. Yeah. Okay. So this is the file that I have to choose from. I'm gonna have to scroll to the top of it. Just pictures, that I use for like this kind of thing that I have that
yeah,
are available to me. So there's a lot of junk pictures here. I scroll. I'm looking for a picture of a face. So none of these are obviously appropriate. These are actually specific pictures for a story. It's the Biela Stories book. That's why I have them there.
yeah.
And then the tree story. That's for another. The ancient one. It's another story, and that was part of that same book again. Okay, so yeah, I get to more pictures that are like Biela pictures, which I think of, but pictures which would be appropriate for, matching up with that post. I could just chose this one or this one. You can see my mouse moving, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay, so I thought this one here and this one, these two, they were kind of cool for visionary as well, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yes,
let me do this and say. So I thought, this one's a little bit too ugly. I thought these two, they I nearly chose this one or that one. Let me bring them up bigger and you can see them, right? But
okay,
but I didn't choose them, even though I personally really love this picture. It's beautiful to me,
yeah,
right?
yes,
And
yes,
same with this picture. This one, it's a little too. I don't care for the face too much. It's a little bit too specific in. It doesn't represent the whole world, if you know what I mean, right?
okay, and
It's too specific in that sense. Okay, so that's why. But the rest is very nice for visionary.
yes,
This one, it's a little bit too harsh, for you. I couldn't see
yeah,
you in this, right? And this one
yeah,
too. This one, it's almost like it's a little too childish and too girly. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
doesn't
yes,
work. It doesn't work.
yes,
So, and this one, yeah, I don't know. This was close. This one, it could work, but I don't quite see this sophistication in you yet. So,
yes,
yes, it might be a vision of the future, but it didn't represent the Beena of now. All right, so let's see.
exactly,
There were a
exactly,
couple of others. Yeah, the one was kind of nice. This one a little bit too attitudey, right? Yeah, it's like, nah, there's too much attitude going on here. Too much ego and self-importance and stuff like that, right? No good. That one's kind of cool. This one's pretty cool. It's got some power in it,
yeah,
but also too worldly,
yeah,
right? So
yes,
I'm sharing my process that I use to choose pictures, because I don't choose them randomly. I always do this. I look at, is it too much this, too little that. So this one, too worldly. When I have that idea of too little, too much, too what, then I say it always
yeah,
connects. So too worldly, it kicks it out very quickly, very easy to say. Okay, this one, it's too specific. It's too Japanese, so
yes,
it doesn't have a specific mood to it. Okay, I think here we go. I think that's the selection that I had to choose from.
yeah,
There's one more over there. Just in terms of female faces. Oh, I did look at this.
yeah,
I came back and looked over here. Well, this is too. It's a little too rough. That one's kind of cool, but it doesn't have the joy and the it doesn't have the exoticness that I associate with you and your visionariness, right? There's an exoticness to the more of your vision. This is too ordinary in that sense. You know what I mean? And too fractured. So this one, okay, that's kind of a wild picture. It's pretty cool, but that's like what the new nobility would kind of look like. So a little different. It doesn't quite connect, doesn't resonate. This one, it's pretty
yes,
cool. But
yes,
again, the face is too definitive, right? It doesn't represent to me. It doesn't. It's too. It only represents a segment of the world's population where you are more universal to me, right? You. For me, and I only saw those profile pictures of you today, so I don't actually have an image of what you look like. right? But to
Uh-huh.
me, in my mind, from knowing you, the vision of you, right, it's more universal of your look, right? A look that represents you. Same thing. It's not universal enough. It's a cool picture, but not universal enough. And this one's a little fractured. This that looks like it's more connecting to other stuff, not to the visionary, more connecting to like this would be a picture for somebody who does maybe like therapy work or something like that, not visionary, not the visionary, but something who's more in the trenches dealing with people's problems and stuff, right? Okay, this one is just like that one's like that's giving to, and again, no good. This one is kind of cool, but again, it's not, the face is not universal enough. It's actually very difficult for me to find faces and this art that I like. It's huge. I mean, I have lots of other pictures that I've already used, which would be better. So this is a file of unused pictures, which is why I'm in it. And but anyway, so this one is kind of cool too, but again, not universal enough in the face. All right, so when you look at my choices, then I'm really pleased that I chose the one. It's the only one that I could choose. Right? Was this one? Right?
Yes, because it is when I just look at it, I say, oh my God, this is something
Why?
I can feel that.
Why?
That's
Why?
this is something I can
And
feel.
I thought to represent visionary. Man, does
Yes.
all this stuff around. Yes, this is a new nobility look as well. That's a whole thing we'll get into at some point, the whole thing of the new nobility and how they appear. But from a visionary point of view, there's so much going on here. This is a visionary of moreness, of the sublime, of sophistication, of complexity, of awesomeness, of all of that. It's not just a vision of, like some people have visions of the future of up, but it's very simplistic, right? They want to best like, okay, kumbaya kind of a vision. Nah, that doesn't satisfy, right?
It is
Basically
also
like,
not
well,
really groomed or refined one. It's a bit of rawness in that.
yes, exactly, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like this doesn't represent the vision where, okay, we're gonna like all live, and basically, go off grid, and you're gonna live the simplistic life where you make your own butter and stuff, all that kind of a vision. That's not the vision that we have in mind when we think visionary, right? We think of a visionary that's truly connected to the more of everything in every which way possible, right? There's nothing simple about this, right? Which is
Yeah.
all of this around the face says simplicity. And, I didn't even see the nose ring actually when I looked at it. I'm just sort of, I mean, it's there, but I don't know why the nose ring. It is that representation of radicalness. Not that you actually literally would probably have a nose ring. You might, I don't know, but it's
I have nose piercing. I have nose piercing.
oh wow. You see, okay,
Yeah,
that's
but I
fascinating. Right.
but I don't wear this spectrum. I just wear the nose
Right.
pin.
Well, you want to be appropriate in doing it. And
Yeah,
I don't know what the red is
but
here, but you know what?
I
I
love this.
right. But it's like kind of like a third eye, except the third eye is not up here. Now, yes, I know the third eye is. I'm not being ignorant here. I'm not being ignorant at all. I'm simply saying that. I mean, I'm saying I know the third eye isn't a part of Islam, and nothing to do with Islam, but it's a Hindu thing. However,
No, no, it
uh,
is. It is.
right,
Sorry.
right, right. But also the third eye has become, it's transcended Hinduism. You know what I mean? It's become a
Yes.
more thing. It's extended that. So to
Actually,
me,
this is something really, really profound because when we offer our prayers and we touch our foreheads, the same
exactly.
exact third eye, and we
Right,
connect with the earth
right,
to channel our energies, channel our
exactly,
energy. Yeah. So there
exactly.
is a vision. There is a
Right,
vision about third eye,
right,
but
right.
without any particular term, without any specific terms.
Exactly. And the fact that
Yes.
this red is not here, which would give it that Hindu implication, the fact that it's
Yes.
elsewhere makes it universal. And that's
Yes.
what I liked about this. All right. Plus, what I liked also about the face representing you, there's an innocence, a purity, and also a determination.
Yes.
And that's, I'm telling you what I see in Beena, what I hear
Yes.
in Beena. It's represented here. I'm not saying this picture is you. I'm saying it represents all lots of things for me too, right? And you see it in that lips. There's that determination, that focus of purpose. So to me, you have, since I've known you, you've had a desire to have clarity of intent and to know precisely what your focus of purpose is.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So you on the path to acquire focus of purpose and clarity of intent. That's where you're at right now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And one more thing. Before going further, I want to say something. I want to share
Always
something.
just say no problem.
Yeah. Actually, I was like I was feeling, I always had a feeling that though I am living in this world, I'm living, but this life is not actually happening to me. I really don't know. I feel
Yes.
like that I'm just observing this. This is not happening with me. This life is actually not happening with or around me. I'm just observing this. And my
Yes.
whole life was like that. I was
Right.
actually not being focused on anything. I was not in hunger of achieving anything. I was not in. Uh, I was never been in any competition with anyone. Like my friends
Right.
were
Right.
achieving things, and I was not thinking, I don't have this thing. And sometimes I just ask myself, Beena, are you a human being really?
No, Beena, you and I
Yeah,
and Olivia, we aren't. We are not. We are not regular humans. So
it was
whether we
really
are aliens or not, I don't know, but we are not
yeah,
regular. We are not regular people. So no. This no. I don't mean this as in any way egotistical. Not in the least. First of all,
yeah,
you are not a regular person. It's just a matter of honesty. That's it. It's simply a matter of honesty. Neither am I, neither is Olivia, and neither is Ryan, neither is Janelle, neither is Michael, neither is any of the people who are going to be doing the course.
yeah.
They aren't ordinary people, right? So
And I
know
was yeah,
know this
sorry.
clearly. I mean, write it
Okay,
down. Say, I am not ordinary. Write that down for me, please. Write it down right now before we go any further.
okay.
I said this to Randall, who's doing the course. When he was taking the notes, I said, Randall, write this down for me, please. Write down, I am not ordinary. And he writes down, he says, yes, I know you're not. I said, not me, you, Randall. It was so funny. It was perfect. It's like, because he didn't think what I was saying. And he didn't think of himself as being unordinary. And yet, his whole story was a whole life of unordinariness. It's just incredible. I said, man, that was a huge shift for him to connect to that, to say, hey, you know what? I am not ordinary. Yes, he always knew it, but not in such a deliberate way, because we conditioned to not to say that, because that sounds egotistical. There's nothing
Yes,
egotistical
yes.
about the way I mean it. There's simply a fact. I can't honestly look at my life and say I'm an ordinary person. I can't. I just cannot do that. So I never was, even as a child. I was a totally unordinary child. Same with Olivia. So
Oh, and I was living in an environment. People around me were were different from me. Let's say that.
just repeat the last sentence. You broke up there.
Yeah, I said that the environment I was living in, I spent my childhood of my life. People around me were different because I never saw anyone, I never heard anyone talking about other things than like usual stuff
Ah,
of life,
ah.
making
Uh,
and
uh, uh, uh,
food and shopping and all
sorry.
that.
I just want to check quickly. Are you moving about? It sounds like you're moving.
No, I'm not.
Oh no, because I get these really unusual sounds, and I'm not sure what could cause it. So very
I
interesting.
really
Like there,
okay.
like right there. Like what happened
I
right there?
think I was sitting.
Wow. It's when you hear the recording of this, you're going to be amazed. I don't know, something is going on there that's affecting your mic. Maybe your microphone sensitivity is too high, Beena. Do you remember where to set that? Where to change it?
Yes, I changed it. Now it's better. I just turned the volume down.
Well, you want to not turn your volume that you're listening to. You want to turn down the microphone sensitivity, because I'm
No,
I'm I'm picking up all the background sounds. I can hear the TV in the background and all that.
Okay. Okay.
So you just go inside the settings, the microphone settings, and there where it says audio settings, in Zoom,
Yeah.
audio settings. You click on that, and it like you see what I just did now. It shows you the speaker setting and the microphone setting. See, my microphone
And
set
there's
is set
when I
is set.
click that audio options, this says leave computer audio. If I
Ah, no,
leave,
no. All right, look on my screen here. Next to the mute button over here is where you want to go. Well, you're gonna have it at the bottom of your screen, not at the top. But you see there, you see what I'm doing, and then you go to the bottom. It says audio settings. Do you see what I mean?
no, I don't
Okay.
have your screen right
Uh, look at the screen share, and you'll see what I mean.
now. No,
Right. You
right
see.
now
You
I
see
don't
where
have your.
right now what?
I don't have your screen.
Oh, I'm doing a screen share. So go to the Zoom window.
Yes, I am looking at you at the top of my screen, and I'm looking at the pictures you opened.
Right.
Or
You see my mouse going? You see my mouse
yes,
moving? Okay,
yes.
now look where my mouse is going to, next to the microphone button, that little arrow. Now,
Okay.
now on yours, it's not gonna this menu is gonna be at the bottom of your screen, not at the top.
Yes.
Okay. But you want to click on audio settings here,
Okay, I'm
and
clicking.
it brings up this window. Are you seeing a similar window?
No,
Oh, not at all?
no.
Huh. So when you click on this little arrow next to the microphone, doesn't it not bring
I
up?
Yeah, it brings up the menu, which states that microphone or
Right, right. At the very bottom,
the,
it says audio settings.
it says audio options.
Okay, same thing. Audio options. Right. Now, in audio options, what do you have? What do you see?
When,
Okay.
when I click that audio options, it
Uh-huh.
just asks me how do you want to join the audio conference? Join
Okay.
by phone
Uh,
or computer audio.
okay. Leave that screen. I'm going to stop my screen share, and then you do a screen share. So you click on the green button at down below, and then we see what. Then I can see your screen. Okay. All right. So,
This is what I
uh,
got.
all right. Go back. Yeah, but you see, this is. Uh,
This is the
oh,
only screen I get when I click that audio options.
oh wow. Go back to that previous menu. Then where you clicked on the audio options. Okay. You go to Zoom. Zoom.
No, it's not really. Do I have to stop this before
Yeah.
that?
Just close this window. Close that window that you have.
Okay. Now I'm doing this again.
Right.
This arrow, the arrow about the
I'm
microphone.
not seeing. You have to do the screen share again. I'm not seeing the screen share because you closed the screen share as well. So click on the green screen share button at the bottom so I can see your screen again. There we
I
go.
am
Now I'm
sharing.
seeing. Yeah. See, what's interesting is that you still seeing my. You still see.
Yes.
Oh, do you have this window open?
No, it's your screen. It's still here.
Huh.
See, this
Right.
is what
Yeah. You see, you don't have that little arrow button next to you
but
there.
I do have. I do have, but
Ah.
on my regular screen, just here, right here,
Okay.
just right here, I
Yeah.
have an up arrow,
Right.
and when I click that, I got a menu which is stating like audio options, and when I click on audio options, I got this screen.
Huh. That's really weird. That's really yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, then I don't know. That's really interesting. Huh. That's very interesting. Well, the other option is okay, end your screen share, and then I'll share my screen again for you. I'll show you another way to
Okay.
do this. Let me just close some of these windows. and share screen.
Strange.
Now you're using Windows on your computer, right?
Yes.
It's a Windows computer?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm just going to leave this up because we're busy with it still. But right here on Windows, the little speaker icon down here, if you right click on that and it says recording devices,
Yes.
and you click on recording devices, and this will bring up a little menu for you here, and now you're on the microphone, so you can click and then go to select the microphone you're using, which in this case is my headset microphone, and then I click on properties, and now I go to levels, and you see here you can also set the level of your microphone. So if I pull this down now, you see now you're probably going to hear me very
Oh.
faintly, right? Hear me now. Right, see now I'll put it back up to where it was more or less, I think. So you want to turn your microphone sensitivity down. Or are you moving it down? Ah, I mean, experiment a little bit to see where a good level is, because I'm not hearing you. I don't know if you're not talking right now or not, but I'm not hearing you.
Okay.
I
Can you hear me now?
just hear those sounds. It's like it's like this kind of a sound. Can you hear that? Like I'm moving my hand across the microphone. I
No, I
was
can't hear
literally
you.
rubbing the microphone. That's kind of, and I said, that kind of a sound.
It's strange. It's really strange.
Yeah. Right. So what's happening around you that could be causing that? Is there another microphone plugged into the?
No,
No, just
no.
that. It's you
I
just.
really don't know because nothing is happening in this room.
Wow. I'm trying to figure out what on earth could be picking that up. Now, well, maybe it's hearing, like you have a mouse pad on your computer, on the laptop, on the
Yes, I
Chromebook.
have. Yes.
Maybe it's when you move your finger across the mouse
Okay.
pad.
Now I'm moving. Just try to listen. Now I'm moving.
Okay. Nope.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, that was fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to lose my the actual
Okay.
focus of this course, and I
All right.
will try to adjust my sound settings
Right.
after that,
Right.
after the sound
Right. So
session.
so you can still turn
And
down the volume slightly. The microphone sensitivity. I would still recommend that, because I do hear like the TV in the background. No, it's not distracting. It's that kind of grating sound. Like air across the microphone. That could be it too.
okay, just wait a minute. Let me do something. Okay, hello.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, is it a bit better?
Yes, yes. You sound like you're in a tunnel or something, a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. It's the other noises. It's the extra noises. Like I said, that movement of air across the microphone, that could be it very much. So that would make
Maybe
that
I
kind
really
of
don't
sound.
know what it is.
Like when you see a reporter standing in the wind and the wind is blowing at you, that kind of a sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will tell you something about myself, because this is something really necessary now to share.
Oh, there all those sounds came. Like all during while you were speaking, those sounds were there. There it is
I
again.
Wow.
That's
I really don't know what is happening because I'm not moving. I'm not moving my headphones. I'm not doing
wow.
anything.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. Now, are you speaking into the microphone from the headphones?
Yes.
Ah, you know what? It might be too close to your mouth. You might be
No.
breathing on the microphone. No?
No.
Huh. Wow.
Anyways.
Wow, that's really fascinating. I'm really curious. Well, you know what? Let me go out of my screen share and put your camera on. Let's see there for a little while, and
Okay. Okay.
maybe I can
Listen.
identify with it. Maybe I can see what it is that's causing the noise.
No, actually, just I just want to say because it's already 11:36, and
Oh,
my
time. Okay.
laptop,
All right.
yeah,
Okay.
my laptop battery is getting down also. I have to
Ah,
put it
okay.
on charge.
Okay.
So, but
Okay.
tomorrow, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will try to bring
Right. Now
new
you
headphones.
can't plug in the laptop while we on the call, so you don't have to rely on battery.
No, no, I
Oh.
can't.
Oh, how come? Just
Yeah, because my in my room, but the charger and the place here is not actually feasible for me to do
oh.
these things.
Oh, you mean the place you need to be at doesn't have an outlet handy?
Okay, try to.
All right. No worries. It's just when you hear the recording, you're going to understand why I'm keen to kind of resolve this, because it makes it difficult to hear you sometimes with that sound. Oh, I lost you. What happened? Beena, where'd you go? I'm not hearing anything, Beena. It's still showing you as connected, but there you are. There you're back again.
Okay, I just plugged out my headphones and tried to communicate.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's try
So
that. You know.
I was hearing you perfectly.
Okay. Yeah. I still hear that scratchy sound. So
Okay, now okay, I will write it down for you. I will write it down what I want to share with you.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, because it's getting late for me now, and I will write it down because this is something really incredible. How how synchronized things are with you,
Yes. Yes.
with the
Yes. Yes.
thing,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's really shocking for me.
Bina, go back to the headset. It's better than this now. This is even worse. Sorry.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No, there. It's perfect. Right there. That was perfect now.
Okay,
But there the sounds are again. There I hear like that.
I really don't know what is going on, but
Fascinating. Fascinating.
no, it's really embarrassing.
Oh, it's okay. We'll figure it out. That's why I was keen for you to put on your camera real quick so maybe I can see what's going on.
Okay, the day after tomorrow, I will try to fix it again. I don't know what is going on with this, but
Right.
and I will leave a message, and I will write it down what I want to share with you. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
something
I
really
tell you
amazing.
what. I tell you what, Bina, make it into a
Yes.
post. Make it into a post. All right. We'll keep going till your battery runs out or your time runs out. But here's where we were, right? So let's go
Okay.
back to where we were at, right? So
Okay.
most successful people inevitably use their visionary abilities to enlighten and advance around those around them, often through a unique kind of communication. That's very important, whether written, spoken, or nonverbal. And for me, those posts that you made were really, really, really powerful. And I don't know if you noticed, but the moment you made that first post of yours, right
Yes.
after that, the number of people that posted after that and interacted, it was the busiest day on the group ever.
Wow.
It's like you set off something, you like sparked, and everybody suddenly started posting. So unique kind of a communication. Your shares are very powerful. You think they're nothing, and you think that I'm like over exaggerate them, but they're not, because they're real and true and genuine. And by implication, you are sharing you what you have been thinking things through. It's not just an idea that you've taken from somewhere, it's a conclusion that you're sharing, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
that is incredibly powerful. Right.
This
So
course is incredibly powerful, and I was just praising God that what a blessed moment that was. I just sent
yes,
you a friend request, and it was
yes,
amazing. It was
right.
amazing for me.
Right,
This is
right,
something incredible.
exactly, and that's what makes you awesome is the fact that you did send that, and you didn't just send a friend request. You responded to my post to say, "Hey, I
Yes,
want to be this now." But I'm on your
yes,
post now, on the post that you made, not the connectivity. I'm going even to the next step, right? About
yeah,
this, your focus of purpose and the clarity of intent. So, and how to implement that. So it's also saying here the ideas of such people serve as an inspiration to those capable of understanding them. When you made that post, that first one that you were so unnecessarily worried about, right? That post is an inspiration to those capable of understanding it. And because you expressing it in your way that you think is rough, which is not, it's actually very sophisticated, right? It connects to people much more so than my posts do. My posts don't connect to everybody. They actually connect to very few people. Why? Because they kind of like it's too much for people. It's not where they at. Yeah,
yes, yes. It
right.
is.
So I
Yes.
understand that. I know that, and that's fine. Which is
Yes.
where you come into things. Your posts connect. See.
Okay. Okay.
So in
It's
order
it's
to so
it's
and look at
it's
this from the
great.
now look we're talking about synchronicity and attunement. In
Yeah.
order to reach a wider audience, June 6 people sometimes need to go to great lengths to ensure that their message is crystal clear and that there are no intervening blocks between them and their audience. Right. What is it that we are doing in the course?
Wow.
Focus of purpose, clarity of intent. So, and that is going to great lengths, right? To ensure that their message is crystal clear and that there are no intervening blocks. That's precisely what we are doing. Our
This is
entire
precisely what
course,
you said. This is
exactly,
precisely what you said
right.
yesterday.
Exactly, exactly. This
Yeah.
is this is confirmation. We're getting a confirmation from the universe. We're getting moreness. So
Yeah.
that's precisely why I have been excited and keen for you to share your posts for many, many reasons. One, it will help you to refine your message and to become crystal clear. The practice of posting will help you to fine tune yourself, right? And to remove those
Yes. Yes.
intervening
Absolutely.
blocks, right?
Yes.
Not only that, it's going to get you to connect to the clarity of your own clarity of purpose and your focus of purpose and clarity of intent, which we have already understood to be the way of impeccability itself is something which resonates with you. So sharing the way of impeccability, that is a focus of purpose.
Okay.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not just now, in order to be visionary and to share the visionary path, which the way of impeccability is, right? That's the vision to share. The way of impeccability is that vision, that upgrade to the future. In order for you to appropriately communicate and share it, you have to be it and live it.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Right. Yes. Right.
Right, exactly. So, does this make things very clear what we're about? From my point of
Yes.
view, right? From my purpose, my intent, I wanted people to take the course, to connect to them, and because it helps me to refine the course, to fine tune the course, to get feedback on the course. Plus, I said, okay, I actually want customers because that's how I make my living. Yeah.
Of
Right. But
course.
if I can't get the customers, plus, so that's one aspect. But if I can't get that, I do still want people taking the course because I want that feedback. I need it.
Yes.
Not only this, I need something else as well. I need people to help me share the way of impeccability so that this can come out in the world. Yes, it will also help me to get customers, but that's secondary. What's more important to me from my own visionary perspective is to do what this is all about. It's to share it and to share that visionariness with the world, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. So, those born on June 6th have a revolutionary zeal, and that's what I have also. A desire to remake existing social structures as they see
Yes.
it for the better.
Yes.
Above
Yes.
all, freedom is the watchword of this day. The way,
Absolutely.
right. The way of impeccability is about ultimate, overall, total freedom. Please
Ah,
understand that. We haven't gotten to that part of the course yet. We will. But that is the point and purpose of the way of impeccability. It is to have real, true freedom. Not the freedom of wealth. That's not a real freedom, as we saw with Marilyn and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and all these people, right? They don't really have freedom. They're not connected to the freedom of joy and the freedom of more and the freedom of transcending everything so that we are strategically set to have true freedom and to be able to live and exist in fluid reality, which would be true freedom. We'll get there. We'll get there. But I want to make sure that you understand this thing that yes, the way of impeccability and what you and I are about, it's not
yeah.
only being and living the way of impeccability. That might be enough for some people. You and I have something more. We need to share that as well. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
so in order to truly share it, we have to be it, right? So we
Yes.
want to share this vision of freedom, and in order to do it, we have to be it and live it. So that's our purpose. Our focus of purpose is doing the course and being the course. That's the focus, right? Which is
Yes.
connected to our clarity of intent, which means our clarity is that, hey, we want to share freedom, right?
Yes.
You see how the two are slightly different. They sound like they're the same thing, but they're not. The focus of purpose is to actually learn the course, to be the course, to do the course, to, in other words, live by the way of impeccability, to know it thoroughly and totally, and to be it, right? Only then can we actually really fully appropriately share that freedom, that vision with the world, right?
Yeah.
Because contained within the way of impeccability is not just a way to live, it is also an understanding of the way the universe works, which is the understanding of real freedom.
Okay.
This is very important. It's a very big part of the way of impeccability. We haven't gotten there yet, but I want you to understand going forward that everything about the way of impeccability, it is about being able to live in full and total freedom. Because freedom without impeccability is a prison.
Mhm.
Right? Look at those Greek
Right.
gods. Look at the Greek gods, right? And
Uh-huh.
look at this picture here that we have. This is like
Yeah.
Greek god style picture, right? Look, even with the
Yeah.
Greek address and everything. The Greek gods had freedom, but they didn't have impeccability, and they were horrible. And they weren't just horrible to the world around them, but their own existence as gods was miserable and horrible, right? It was unfulfilled. It was all about
Yes.
indulgence. It was all about, just indulgence, really. It was all about
Yes.
indulgence, which is a prison. It's not really a freedom. They were imprisoned by their lack of impeccability, right? Because they pursued vanity, they pursued greed, they pursued self importance, they pursued, glory, all this other nonsense, right?
Yes.
Right. But look on the other
Yes.
side, the picture that we have here. You see, this is a picture representing freedom, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, right? And they,
Yeah.
they would put this in specifically. They do this on purpose. They're very sophisticated. They're not using their pictures casually either, right? So very important. All of this is very powerful. So basically, Beena, what I'm
Yes.
saying from my point in the short term, it's your purpose, focus, what to do is to share and communicate the course and what it's all about. Very simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yes.
that was our arrangement also, right? I said, hey, okay,
Yes.
I want you to be invested in the course so
Yes.
that you have
Yes.
leverage.
Yes.
The leverage
Yes.
that I'm asking is that you share the course through the posts and other stuff. But okay, you can go
Yes.
beyond sharing it in the group. You can share it all over the internet in any way that you do. But now you see what's happened. This is just how living in attunement works. I had my purpose in that, but since my purpose is in attunement with the overall purpose, it's going to, of course, connect to your purpose. The two get completely overlapped in that synchronicity. So now you're not doing something as a, as a payment to me or as a favor to me. No, what I asking you to do is what is your deepest inner desire and your own focus of purpose and your
Ex-
own clarity of intent, right?
exactly, because that is why I was a bit hesitant in the beginning. I was thinking I have to write something, but I'm not feeling anything. When I feel something,
Right.
then I will write something about it,
Exactly.
and that's why I wrote that.
Right. Right. And that's what
Yes,
I was trying to get you to do. Not write
yes,
my stuff. I never wanted that. I always wanted you to share you. I don't know if you remember, I said share it like it's your journal, your personal life journal,
yes,
your
yes,
diary.
yes. You said that.
I always wanted you to share you, because that's
Yes,
why I knew when we connected, I knew that you had connected to me as a function of attunement, which means always that our connectivity has more to it. More, 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 more. That's how it works. So my purpose and your purpose are basically exactly the same,
yeah.
right?
And you gave me the freedom. Okay, whatever you want to write
Right,
about it, and
right,
that moment when I feel that
right,
okay, now I'm free, I can write what I want to. It's
right,
like yes, now this is what I'm feeling.
right. Not only are you free to write, but you're also writing about freedom.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So what I want you to share, or what I was keen for you to share, right? And in the context of the course, if you share your journey of the course, this
yeah,
is the journey of your freedom to get to freedom, capital F freedom, right? It's the path to freedom. Taking the course is the path
yeah.
to freedom. Correct?
Okay.
And that's what I want you to share, so people in the group, right, can see, hey, you know what, Beena is on a path to freedom. She's on not just a path to freedom, but she's on a path to fulfilling her personal intent, because she's that focus of purpose. So Beena's doing what is Beena. We are seeing the evolution of Beena in real time. That's what I want you to share. How profound is that not to share? Now, somebody else's path and their particular focus of purpose is going to be different to yours. But you sharing your path, you saying, really, in essence, you're saying to the group, hey, what I'm sharing is how the course and this, what I'm sharing is how it's helping me to get to be real me, right? In the same way,
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
same way, you, somebody else, you saying to people out there, your visionariness is saying this way of impeccability. It can help you to get to your path. That is the visionariness of what we're about. That's the transformationness. That's the awesomeness that it said. That's the enlightenment and the advancement of around people around us. See, this is that, right? People inevitably use their visionary abilities to enlighten and enhance those around them. So, your sharing of your journey, right, does precisely that. It enlightens and advances those around them because, right, where I'm at in terms of my path, it's not where most people in the group are at, right?
Yes. Yes.
However, where they are at is closer to where you are at in terms of where they're at in their path, right?
Yes. Because we are
So,
learning.
right. So they're going to resonate and connect to you sharing your journey way more than they do connect to where I'm at, because my journey is not their journey. It's a whole
Oh
different.
yes.
I'm
Oh
at a
yes.
different place. So
Oh yes.
right. You see. So right. So that's what I said. Often through a unique kind of communication. The unique communication here is you sharing your journey. That's the uniqueness of the communication, because you're doing it in real time. And that is incredibly powerful, because when we can't go back afterwards and write the journey, it's too removed. We lose that immediacy of the connectivity. We lose that rawness. that first post that you made, the one you were so concerned about, it was precisely the rawness of the post as you perceive it. To me, it's a very sophisticated post, but as you perceive that rawness, that's precisely what is needed, and that's the uniqueness of the communication, which is profoundly awesome right now in where everything fits together. And how you help me and Olivia in making those posts. In other words, how you pay for the course, if you want to get technical
Yes.
about it. But we way beyond that already. You understand that? That payment of the course thing, that was simply the little leverage mechanism of the universe. Remember where we said right in the beginning here, your little meditation is said about technique is purely individual, right? It's just a means of
Yes.
expression. That little thing of saying the paying for, that was purely this. It's just about a little technique to get you to your personal means of expression. See? All works out.
Actually, you were right. Actually, you were absolutely right. Because this was the push I was needed. Like, okay,
Right.
yes, I'm paying something. I'm obliged to pay something for this because I'm
Yes.
getting something.
Yes.
And now it is, because otherwise I might do procrastinate about, okay, yes, I will do, okay,
Exactly.
sometimes, yes,
Exactly.
oh, it's not appropriate, it is not good enough,
Right.
it is not
Right.
right time,
Right.
that kind of things.
So it
But
was
this is
about.
something.
Okay, sorry, Karen. I thought you finished.
Yeah. So you were absolutely right about this thing, that I was, you just pushed me.
Right.
This is something you must do, and
Right.
that thing that, okay, yes, I am
Right.
obliged to do. He is giving me tons of wisdom in every session. I am obliged to do something,
Beena,
and
Beena,
that thing
I
just
did.
pushed me, and I opened the door. It opens up
Right.
the door.
Right. But
Yeah.
instead of pushed in your
Yeah.
dictionary of power, what is the term you have in your dictionary of power that's way more appropriate than pushed?
I really don't know. Sorry.
Leveraged. Leveraged.
Oh yes. So
Right. Right. It's
yeah.
leverage, right? I
Yeah.
use that as leverage. Now, you took that then and you used it as self-leverage. And that's the term you want in your dictionary of power. Self-leverage, right?
Self-love. Okay.
Self-leverage. Because I leveraged you by saying, hey, you know what? I'm keen for you to have some sort of a payment so that you'll actually do this. You thought about it. And then you took what I shared and you made it your own, which is profound right there. Making it your own is profound. And then you used what I suggested. You used it to self-leverage yourself, right?
Yes.
So you put pressure on yourself. You did it
Yes.
deliberately, you did it consciously, you did it knowingly, and that right there, that is self-leverage. It is profound, it is huge. And it is a mechanism of personal freedom to getting there because it gets us to do stuff. It puts us on the path. So it's a very big deal. It's a visionary the self-leverage in the context of how we mean visionary, it is an upgrade of being. Is it not? It's one of the tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very powerful tool. So it's part of this visionary expression that we're embarking upon. Yeah. So that dictionary of power is a very, very big deal. And that's
Yes.
something you can post as well. My entries into today's entries into my dictionary of power. You don't just put the like this now, self-leverage. So let's say you make a post and you say today's entry into my dictionary of power, and it's an ongoing thing. It's like a little meme, a theme, a style, right?
Yes.
And you say, okay, so I put in self-leverage today. What do I mean? And then you write a little story, which is exactly that story that you just shared about the course and paying for, and how you transformed it. Write out that little story as a representation for you of self-leverage, right? And then you can add
Okay.
further definitions on it. But you see what I'm saying? That's how you create the dictionary of power. It is you take
Okay.
what you understand the term to mean, the concept, because these are concepts rather than terms, right? Self-leverage is a
Yes.
concept, it's a profound conception. So when you explain that conception in the post, you're explaining it to yourself through that, because you on that path and that path resonates to they're going to connect and resonate as well. And they're going to say, see, hey, wow, this is very cool what Beena's doing, because you feel it's cool. I mean, that's that dictionary of power and all the things that we do. You want to share that coolness and the joy
Yes.
you get and the awesomeness. You want to share it out there. That's really cool. People like to hear that, you know. So, but
Okay.
it's more
Okay.
about your own learning. It's a mechanism for
Yes.
leveraging your own learning. When you share it and when you make that post, that is when you make it your own. And it's now something that's Beena, right? It's not just in your mind because you post by posting it. It's like a commitment to the universe. You could say when you make a post. Let me just go into this real quickly. It's something I want to share to the others as well. It's a very big deal, right? I've shared a little
Yes.
bit of it, but when you make a post, you're not making that post to the group or to people. You're making that post to Allah or to the universe. However you conceive it, I don't know how you do, but like I said this to Michael when he was talking about making, like he has to give to talk in his job, and he feels like when he has to, people are there and they're all listening to him, he's like on the spot and he's awkward about it and he wants that to be joyful. I said, whatever you need to give, like a little speech or whatever, say it to God. Don't say it to the people. Speak as if you're speaking to God, and in your case, speak to Allah. Right? When you speak to
Yes.
Allah, you don't worry about how you look. You just share your heart to Allah. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Now you don't have a problem speaking to Allah, do you?
No.
No, you speak purely. And when you're speaking to Allah, you focused on your own personal truth. You share your heart. You share what you know. You share your understanding. So every post is a post to Allah. That's for me. My posts, when I do it,
Wow.
it's always I'm making a post to the universe. I've got a whole post. I've got a whole post about posting and why I make posts. I never ever made not one single post to get a like or to be popular or to none of that. It was always me sharing myself to the universe, which is sharing myself to me. Same thing. Very,
Wow.
very, very, very powerful. So,
Yes, it is.
right.
Yes, it
So
is.
because we are visionaries, we do things differently. Understand that, right? So
Okay.
our posting is a visionary mechanism in the same way
Okay.
as the writing of the Quran or the prophets in the Old Testament. What was that when they wrote that stuff down or shared it? Maybe they didn't write it down themselves, but what was that but a post to the universe? Like Ezekiel or Isaiah or any one of those guys, right?
Yes.
Is it
Yes.
aren't that the book of Ezekiel? Isn't that a post to the universe?
Yes. Yes.
Right, exactly. So from now on, all your posts are posts to Allah. Your sharing of yourness, of beingness, which is visionariness, right? To
Yeah.
Allah. You sharing your heart, your intimacy, your inner self. You sharing, you say, Allah, this is what I learned today. Allah, this is what I'm celebrating today. Allah, this was what was profound for me today. Allah, this is what brought me joy today. This is what really meant something to me today. This is what was more to me. This is what's awesome to me. That's what you're sharing, right? That's what the takeaway
You, you
philosophy is.
you are just blowing my mind. Wow. Oh,
It's all about focus of purpose, clarity of intent. When you know precisely what you are doing, everything is simple. It isn't what
oh
I
my
just did
God.
right there now, clarifying intent and providing through that clarity of intent. It was now you connected to a focus of purpose. Now your posts aren't just making posts. You have a precise focus of purpose. You know precisely what's going on with those posts. And that preciseness is also a more, right?
Yes.
It's a huge,
Yes.
huge more. Yes, it's very precise. You sharing yourself with Allah. But that preciseness is so huge. It's so profound. It's visionary. It's an upgrade. It's transformative. It's sharing with the world. It's sharing freedom. It's doing all sorts of incredible stuff.
And
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 you
the
help me?
clarity of, yeah, and the clarity of intent and the
Yes.
focus of purpose, the clarity of intent. This
Right.
just right now when you were saying this, it just remind me that there is a verse in Quran that says that all your deeds are dependent on your intent.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Yeah, the
yes, yes,
result and the
exactly.
outcome is depend on your intent. So
Right,
it's not about that, okay, when a person is doing something with a good intent, with a clear
yes,
intent,
right.
no matter what the result or what the outcome will be.
Correct, correct.
So,
Exactly,
but the intent
exactly.
should
Now,
be
right,
clear.
right.
Wow.
Now
Wow.
that right there, we put a little circle around it, and
Yeah.
that entire conception is represented by one single word, which is
Impeccability.
exactly. When you're impeccable, in other words, because you cannot be concerned with the outcome. You know, I'm being impeccable. Whatever way it turns out, it's going to turn out. I can only be impeccable. And when I am impeccable, I can be relaxed and have no worries to say, however it turns out, that it turns out it's not in my hands anymore. I did my part, which was be impeccable. That's all I can do. End of story. Yes, I can learn to be more, because my impeccability, yes, can be limited, because my humility tells me I don't know everything. So I always have to seek to expand my awareness. That's part of
Yes.
my impeccability, is continually expanding my awareness and developing my awareness, so that my impeccability has less and less chance of going cockeyed. And my impeccability is more and more potent and powerful and sensible and awesome. But that's my path. But in the meantime, I know I'm relative to the universe. I'm never going to know everything. So always the possibility that what I do could turn out weird. However, this is what we talked about when we talked about fortuitous mistakes, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
exactly that. So, and that's what the Quran is saying as well. In a roundabout way, it's also saying that you just have to trust. You have to trust in your impeccability. That's the key. To
Yes.
trust in your
Yes.
focus of purpose and your clarity of intent. When your clarity of intent says, I'm going to be impeccable, well, life is easy after that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do me one more favor. As a very
Yes.
powerful transformative way, and you actually did this now. You didn't quote the Quran specifically like the verse,
Yeah.
precisely in its words.
Yeah.
You took that meaning and you put it into your own words.
Yes.
Do that always. It's very powerful.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
if you quote the Quran literally word for word, which you
Yeah.
and I want to bring this up with Michael and Ryan and Janelle, because they do it a lot, and it's actually not really something that helps them, because they are quoting somebody else's words. Even though it
Yeah.
might be the Bible and the Quran, it's profound, it's still not their own words. So when
Yes.
you do that, that by implication to your brain, to yourself, you are living according to something else. The moment you make that quote your own and you put it in your own words, now it becomes you. And that is very important. So we have to take the quotes, any scripture, it doesn't matter which one,
Yeah.
anything that we take that's valuable, we have to re-express it as our own words. Only then does it become us, and only then does it become actually real us, right?
Wow. Wow.
And
You know
you'll see.
what?
Oh, I just want to
Yeah.
add one more thing. You'll see that,
Yes.
for instance, Ryan and Michael and Janelle, they struggle to express themselves. They struggle
Yeah.
to express themselves. They can express the Bible all day long, but they struggle to express themselves. Why? Because they're in that habit of quoting the Bible.
Um,
Because it's something else. It's not them. They haven't made it their own through that simple little technique of rephrasing things and expressing it in your own words, right? And this applies to the course as well. Yes, there are words you're going to use like impeccability, but you're going to express it in your own particular personal way. Don't be quoting me. That
wow.
post, that post that you made, yes, it used some terms, but that post, even though you used terms that we use, right? That
Yes.
post that you made, that was an expression of you. You were taking what you'd acquired in the course, you were taking what you'd learned, you made it your own, and that was
Yeah.
what you were expressing. And that's the power of it. Yeah?
Yes.
That was
You know,
I heard
I
real
was
Beena. Oh, go
I
ahead.
was pondering. I was actually pondering my head that okay, there are so many questions in my head. I don't know from where I will get answers. I have so many confusions in my life. I want to clear it. I don't know how to express myself. I really want to write, but I don't know how to do this because I'm using someone else's words. I might use someone else's idea. This is not going to be genuine thing. So I was holding myself, and and suddenly, when I was just, I have a strong desire, and you appeared in my life.
You intended me. You intended me.
Yes.
Or be very clear about this. In the same way I
Yeah.
intended you, you intended me. Understand that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, because I was in desperate need of
Exactly.
someone who can,
Exactly.
because words, for me, words are really important. I really don't know how, why, but this is something really important.
Yeah.
Even some single words in my life which are not really bad, but it still haunts me. It still have a self-sabotaging mechanism in my mind. It's still
Right.
in a loop. So words are really important for me. I always want to learn more. I want to extract more in your
Yes.
words from
Yes.
words. So when you
Oh,
use the
oh, oh,
term
oh,
power
oh,
terms,
extract more. Is that my words or yours?
yours.
It's yours now too.
Ah,
Don't you really feel and understand extract more to be something really profound? Is it not
yes,
something?
yes,
It's deep in your heart. Extract more. So it's yours as much as it is mine. I didn't
and
invent the word extract. I didn't invent the word more. So
and
so
and
so we
when
can all own this, right?
yes, yes, and when you use the term, okay, these are the power terms, and you will have a five, 4, 5 for this. This simple exercise, this simple routine, you can say that, just writing down the terms with the capital letters. It's like celebrating, it's like appreciating the real power of words. And I was like, oh my God, this is something
Yes.
I was in need of.
Yes.
And I said, this is the way to celebrate. This is the way to address the words. This is the way to actually celebrate the power of the words, the
And
original power.
and to leverage them.
Yes, yes,
Exactly,
yes,
exactly. That is precisely why I do that. I'm not doing it idly. It's not just casually come by. It's specific. It's deliberate. It's intentional. All of that.
yes.
I'm doing it on purpose, deliberately. Yeah, it's very powerful. Very, very, very powerful.
That's why I'm saying it again and again, because I was not expecting this from the
Right,
course. I was like,
right,
okay, yes, this is the course.
right,
Maybe about psychology, maybe about spirituality, maybe about
right.
astrology, astronomy, and all the philosophy and other stuff, and law of attraction and all these things, and maybe together all of it. So I was like, okay, yes, but when I started doing this from the first day, it was like, oh my God, this is pure logical. It is pure logical. It is purely engineered, designed, like for the mind, for the vision, for the for the clarity of purpose and intent and all that. But it is
Yes,
perfectly logically designed, engineered thing.
yes, yes, yes. I call it a meta logic.
Oh,
Meta, it's a power term, meta logic with a little hyphen in it, right?
okay.
There is a meta logic to it, an overview logic, that it makes sense in the entirety of everything, and it's a self-evident sensibility, which is part of that meta logic. It has to be self-evident sensibility, because otherwise you have to take my word for it. You have to believe me, and that's just crappy. That's no good at
Mm,
all. It has to be self-evident sensibility. That's the meta logic of all this. Not only that, the reason why there's this meta logic, it's because it's completely in attunement with the way the universe works. And we'll get to that later. But
wow.
but that what you just said to me, all of that, like what you expected, what you thought, and then what it turned out to be, and the logic, make a post of that.
Okay.
That's a
Okay.
very, very, very powerful post. It's a very cool
Okay.
post. Share your inner thoughts and beliefs. Just share your beingness. That's it. You know what I mean? It's really, really powerful. It's really cool.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
that's a
Sorry, my
profound post. That one, what you
okay.
expected,
Okay.
and then what you found. That is,
Yeah.
to me, that's a really, really, really profound little story. So what you can do, Beena, is as soon as I finished
Yeah.
here, and it's late there by you already now. I'm going to save this recording because I remember to put it
Yeah.
on, which I'm glad to do fairly early, and then I'll upload it onto YouTube. And when I do onto YouTube, it's private, by the way. It's not listed, so
Okay.
only the person who has the link can see it. Then I'll share the
Okay.
link with you. I'll put the link in Facebook chat, and then you can go over it, and then you can make posts from the recording, because this is there's I don't know, there's like, I don't know, dozens and dozens of posts involved in this here, right? Like every time
Okay.
you
Okay.
told me, like every time you said, "Hey, I want to say something," and of course you just say something anytime. Don't worry about interrupting me, because my time is very fast. I mean, so when you pause for like it will be a quarter of a second. I think you finish speaking, but so don't worry about me. Just jump in. But every time you shared stuff with me, right?
Yeah.
That's a post. Every sharing is a post.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You're
I'll do.
welcome to share what
My
I say too if you want, but then do it in your own way. Say, okay, if you want to,
okay.
let's say I made a little kind of a little mini speech about something, a little mini explanation. Don't just post it as like, oh, Saul said this. No, no, no. As part of the course, I heard this, and this is what it meant to me. Share it that way. You see what I mean?
Okay.
You're
Yes.
putting it
Yes.
through, it's going through you, and this is
Okay.
how I understood it. That's the takeaway, right? And that's how you make it your own. So you're not just repeating what I said. No, you're saying, this is what it meant to me. This is what this said to me. And you can put a quote in there if you like. Okay, Saul said this,
Okay.
but this is what it meant to me. And that's, I
Okay.
want you with me, right? You with me. Very
Okay.
powerful. Very,
Okay.
very powerful. Very, very
Okay.
powerful.
Now my laptop battery is actually blinking, so it's about to die.
Okay, so what we got to do is get you an extension cord so that you can write, and that you can be in a nice
But
quiet
I'm
space.
really sure about this, that we have so much energy around us. We have so many energies around us, because every time I try to communicate with you, there's so much noises and
Right,
pollution
it's
and all that.
fascinating. It is profoundly fascinating. It could just be energy. It's very, very possible. Bina, you know what I like
But
about your,
it's still we are
right,
managed.
but don't get the extension cord. I like the fact that your battery runs out. Why? Because it forces us to have a limit. And otherwise
Okay.
these our sessions would go too long, and then they kind of get
Yes.
overwhelming. So as much as I love it, as much as I'm greedy, I will do this all day long and I love this. It's really
Thank
a
you
joy.
so much. Thank you
it,
so
it,
much.
it, it's necessary to have that automatic end of it, right? Do you know what I mean?
Sorry. Say it again.
I'm saying it's necessary that we have this forced ending to shorten the time so that we don't go too much.
Keep going. Oh yes.
So the
Yes, we
battery,
can.
so the battery is a gift, in other words, a capital G gift, right?
Oh yes.
It's magic.
Battery
It's magic.
limitations.
It's magic.
Yeah,
It's
battery
magic.
limits are a gift also. Yes, battery
Exactly. Well,
limits.
it's not
So
that it limits our thoughts; it limits us from going on for too long and overdoing it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's where it's
yeah,
dangerous, right?
yeah.
So it's very powerful,
So
because there
thank you
needs to
so much.
be time afterwards for application, for converting this into the posts, for converting it into
Thanks.
inner Beena. So, which is the posting is the process of making it your own. That's what the posting is all about, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you
Right.
so much, sir.
Oh, pleasure,
It's
pleasure, pleasure.
it's an amazing
Yes, it is
story.
amazing. I love it.
Always,
I love it. I love
always.
it. I love it.
Yeah,
All right. Until next time, Beena.
and
Until next
always
time.
exciting.
Yes. And hopefully we're
Yes.
going to see
Thank you
you.
so much.
Saturday would be likely the next time, unless you want to connect tomorrow, but Saturday,
And yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I will do my best, because
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
free
Saturday is a
and
better time
I'm
for you,
doing
right?
yes. So
Okay.
thank you
Perfect.
so much.
Perfect. I
Thank
love
you
it.
so
I
much.
love it.
Take
All
care.
right. Bye bye, Beena. Bye bye. Yeah,
Okay,
you too.
bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Gotta get out of this. End meeting for all. Yes. Bye, Beena. Bye, bye, bye.